All right, hi class. Today we're going to work on measures of a circle. It's pretty easy. You just have to memorize the definition of radius and diameter and circumference. So let's go over those real quick. All right, so let's talk about some of the facets of a circle. The distance around, if you were to walk in a circle around this circle, that would be circumference. There's some mathematical equations that you guys will be learning to calculate the distance around, and that's if you were to take this and roll it out into a line, then that would be how far you walk. The next thing we're going to talk about is radius and diameter. So if you don't want to walk all the way around the circle, sometimes it's better to cut right through the center of it. So if you start right here, start on one side and you end over here, and you cut directly through the center of the circle, that's diameter. Okay? Shortcut. It's a lot shorter than going all the way around the circle if you just cut right through it. That is diameter. And the third thing I want to talk to you guys about is radius. Radius is half of the diameter, which means the diameter is double the radius. It's an important concept. Okay? So if you start in the center of a circle and you just go to the outside edge of the circle, that is known as your radius. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a couple practice problems. On this first circle, we have a line that goes from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle. That is the definition of a radius. So when you go from the center of the circle to outside, that's your radius. So each one of these problems, we're going to write the radius and the diameter. So the radius for this one is 5 centimeters. Okay? The diameter is always whatever the radius is times 2. So if you don't know the diameter, you just take your known, the radius, and multiply it by 2. So I guess you could write that down. Diameter equals whatever your radius is times 2. Okay? I don't know if you guys can see that little equation. Your diameter is whatever your radius is times 2. So in this case, our radius is 5. So we're going to take 5, that's our radius, times 2, which is equal to 10. I'm going to write 10 below. 10 centimeters. Makes sense. If you went halfway across, that's 5. If you went another halfway, increase that by 2, you'd have another 5 centimeters. The whole distance would be 10 centimeters. All right, you go ahead and do these next two by yourself and see how you guys turn out. All right, this one was kind of a trick question. You had to use what you know about this to extrapolate what the radius might be. The radius is always half of the diameter. So you basically take the diameter and you cut it in half, or you divide it by 2. So our diameter, we already know, is the distance across, which is 28 centimeters. And if you cut that in half, you have a radius. So 28 divided by 2, your radius is going to equal 14 centimeters. Okay, so from there to there is 14 centimeters. Last problem. And don't always go off the size of the circle. Go with what the labels actually show you. In this case, this is 50 centimeters. So if you take 50 centimeters, you know that's the radius because it's halfway across. So your diameter is going to be 50 remember, and if you want to find the diameter, you just take whatever the radius is and multiply it by 2. So in this case, the diameter is going to equal 100 centimeters. 50 times 2 is 100. All right, so hopefully that makes sense about radius, about radii, which is the plural of radius, and diameters. Hopefully that helps. Have a nice night.